Alrighty, so one sign that we do have over here that isn't the possibility of us now creating that final leg down. Guys, I do think we do only have a week or two left in this range. I do think that there's two possibilities of maybe the last leg of the capitulation. Maybe we do get the 14K. The only way I would see that sort of happening was obviously something with DCG or Genesis or something happening in that space, another big catalyst, or we have a big pullback in the stock market. Not humongous, but a decent one after the run that we've had over the last few weeks. And everything was working to plan. Everything stayed the same. I'm sure Bitcoin would have been close to 30K by now. But we live another day and we continue. So ultimately, what we're looking at is we want to look at, we are losing steam on the stock market. We are starting the down leg. Where could that possibly be? And will that be enough to get Bitcoin to make the lower low? Or is Bitcoin going to go down and test one more zone? Because if I have a look over here, I do see Bitcoin currently in an area of where we spoke about on the last show. I said we'll come down to around 16K. And if we hold 16K, it could still give us the slight bullish leg to the offload zone of the 18K. Not thinking much above that just yet. But I said to you guys, the best thing to do is to turn into Bitcoin. And if you did so, you'll be making quite a bit of altcoins right now by not getting out of the market, but jumping to the safest asset as you can speak. Now, one last thing, and this is what I'm going to jump through on the show. I'll go through some altcoins for you guys. We are hitting the last week now of the stochastic RSI, hitting the oversold position. There's not much time left, guys. The stochastic is one indicator that, yes, we may go down and we may stay there for a week or two, but it is saying that we are hitting the oversold on a higher time frame. And this has never lied previously before. So no more wasting time. Let's get into the charts. I'm going to make it a 10 to 15-minute show today. Let's keep it nice and short and sweet, and let's get going. Hit it, James.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam. As you can see, I am using a slight different camera. I just finished off a session with the Sniper School. We had over 600 students in the one session. We have another 600 to 700 students later tonight. So we have 1,300 students currently going through the course right now. If all goes well, by January, we're hitting out to the masses, and we should be hitting many, many, many different amounts. Guys, if you are brand new, smash the subscribe button. You're part of the family. We've been through war together. Smash the like button. Remember to follow me on Twitter, guys. And what you'll find is a pinned tweet. And this for me,
Sheldon, are you on the right mic, bro? I think your mic.
Yo.
Yeah,
You told me earlier, bro. I'm gonna tell Ryan.
Sexy. No, it sounded a little bit fucking strange.
Yeah, it does sound thank you.
$100 bonus.
Sorry, bro. I have 2 school sessions today, plus a show, and the launch of my next YouTube channel. So things are going quite crazy today. So guys, what you will find on my Twitter is, as things stand, that the possibilities of a capitulation you see now on the stochastic RSI. There's not much time left in this range until we're going to get some sort of bounce. Now, what are the pros and cons to both? If we bounce in the area right now of where we're sitting, the only con that I have is that we might come back and test the lower ranges at a later stage. That's the only thing. We're not promised that it would, but ultimately we have seen it with charts many times, that if we had these long-term sort of levels to test, and we clearly cracked this one, not holding it too well, that if we bounce here and decide to make our way back to the 20K, possibly higher levels, we might at a later stage come back. And ultimately, I think we're in two different boats here. Either if we do have an early shoot up here and we don't hit the support zone, it's just confirming again the amount of profits that I need to be taking on the way up to these higher ranges. But obviously, yeah, basically giving me more insight that I need to take profits on the way up on the next one because we still have this one available. Or we come down now, we get done with it, and that should be it for a while. We might range for a while through these areas, but ultimately that should be majority of the damage done from this leg down. We should sit. It will probably try, completely get the market up by going boring for a little while, but then road to recovery. Road back to the higher sort of level. So we have a pros and cons to both. So as it stands, I'm still putting the possibility of a capitulation, and for me, these are still my targets. So you will find this out on Twitter. Make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter, guys. But these are sort of the targets, and it still falls back to the same thing of Bitcoin holding this level. You got the pros and cons of us going and testing the 12K area. Obviously, that is still a very bad sign for the altcoins. And right now, the altcoins are coming to test. As we speak, we've had a little bounce from the altcoins in the last week, and I'm sure you saw BNB and a lot of tokens started to break up pretty well. And right now it's coming down, and the importance of the altcoins making a higher low now is pretty critical, because if we don't, remember we got that huge gap. And ultimately, that is worst scenario for me, that we do lose 40-45% on the altcoins by losing this current level. So for me, I do want to see us have a higher low in this area and holding these sort of zones. So let's go through, guys. Remember, guys, if you are trading, we have many competitions going. We've got OKX World Cup. We have the Bitget World Cup. For trading competitions, remember, if you sign up on any of our exchange links, you do get sign-up bonuses and discounts on your trading fees. And we have many different things. Guys, go check the Discord out. We have something huge dropping tomorrow. Go check the Discord out to make sure you're part of it. Remember, there's a VIP section where you get calls every day. And if you have one of our exchange links, you are able to join that. And NordVPN. Go watch the show we did on Friday. You'll understand it's very important to protect yourself out there. So, and remember to follow my channel, Sheldon the Sniper. Cool. So let's jump in, guys. Let's go have a look where we're at right now and what the plans are. So for me, this is probably one of the last legs down, in my opinion, before we actually start getting some sort of bounce. So I'm going to go to the bullish scenario, the scenario that I spoke to you guys about last week, Thursday, that we would pull back, don't chase the pump, turn into Bitcoin, turn your altcoins into Bitcoin, everything, just in case this does turn out to be a fake out. And now we're at that crunch time where we're going to have the decision soon made that if it's a breakout and retest, or if it's a fake out. And a breakout and retest, we did pretty well with the high, sort of going to that area of that high over there. Ultimately, we want to come down. We want to make the higher low. We want RSIs to be reset. So right now we do have the 4-hour short time frame sort of reset as we speak. We still have the 8-hour on its way down, and we still have the 12-hour, which has just left the top. And then what we have is the daily, which has just left the top. So the way you play this out now, guys, is short time frame. Firstly, the question is, was that temporary high in? We'll soon see, and we have that trend line to help us justify if we break that at any point and where we could be going next. But ultimately, what this means is we have a support zone of Bitcoin that is currently sitting around 16,000, the low that we made in the last 24 hours. And if we are to hold, we still have the 12-hour and the daily that needs to come down. So what we basically can expect is either we're going to lose this level, which I'll actually jump to now shortly, or what's going to happen is this will basically make its way up and we will basically range here for a little while. And reason why we will range here for a little while is to make sure that we get the 12-hour and the higher time frame RSIs down. Then ultimately breaking of that trend can give us the indication that now we're on our way to the higher range, which the next major resistance zone is around about the $18,000 mark as we speak. So that is the one play that we hold 16, maybe a little wicks or anywhere here. As long as we actually hold this low, it's great. It can be good news. And ultimately, if we break out of that trend after the 12-hour and the daily RSIs are reset, we could start diversifying back into the altcoins. Right now, I'm not interested in altcoins. Because of the risk to reward right now, as we speak, we're not confirmed that the market is bouncing from here just yet. And until then, I cannot be certain to get into altcoins, because you can see it very clearly that as soon as Bitcoin loses those levels, dominance straight up. You can see over there straight up. Now let's go look at the RSIs on dominance. Just left the bottom on the 12-hour. So you're starting to see the opposite in that sort of look over here on the daily. Very important. Now, another thing to look at is the USDT dominance. Now, if this is going up, bad for crypto, means crypto is going down, people are going into USDT. And this currently, what is that, guys? Bull flag. Bull flag as we speak. So, for me, we need to hold and obviously go sideways and hold 16K. Right now, things are still pointed slightly to the downside more than the up. But ultimately, if this does break at any point down here, then possibly a Bart Simpson, things are looking good. But right now, as it stands, it looks like the market is going to continue this little pullback. Maybe rejection, but if we break this, this for me is the play then, where we take in the USDT dominance back past all-time high, goes into all-time high territory. When a coin or anything usually hits that, we usually accelerate very quickly. And this for me ultimately is between the $12,000 and the $14,000 Bitcoin, if that actually happens. So right now, we need to pay attention on this. And the only time we can celebrate and get into altcoins is if we drop that trend line. For now, the best thing to do is to be in the market still in Bitcoin, possibly a little bit in Ethereum. That's fine. But for me, that's it. I got out on the BNB pump into Bitcoin on the weekend. I got out of Matic into Bitcoin throughout the weekend. So it teaches you the solid skill of not exiting the market, but jumping to the safe asset until we know the pure direction. Now, if the negative, the bad bearish play had to play out on Bitcoin, I'll basically see it something like this, where ultimately we go down now, we test that range low, if not making a slightly lower low, a small bounce up, and then collapse. And for me, once I see that we have confirmed that low, I'm then obviously starting to think, okay, look at the portfolio now. What type of can you hold a 20% drop in Bitcoin? Possibly more. Bitcoin could go to 10K. Who knows? It all depends on how bad things can get. And then you could possibly look at USDT and maybe some stables, getting out if that actually happens. What I would basically do is wait for the bounce over here, exit in this area over here, and look for the next leg down. Now, what are the major catalysts? I don't think there's much FUD anymore. I think there might still be a bit more. Before I jump into some altcoins, guys, which I will do for you shortly. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'm doing full altcoin shows where I'm sitting on with you guys. I'm actually going to do longer shows. These are quicker ones just to get through everything quick. But then I'll be focusing on any altcoins you guys are in, and we can look at Bitcoin pairing and see what we can do. But for me, it's the stock market. That could be the catalyst for this drop. It's been running up for a long time, and even just a little red candle down, crypto is coming down. So crypto is not following it to the upside, but it's following it to the downside. And for me, that is a concern. So as it speaks, we basically have an impulse, I think the stock market's recovered extremely well, but we have a strong impulse here. I'm expecting a correction and then another possible impulse we will see at a later stage. But ultimately, for me, this is the correction. And this could be the first sign of that starting to actually happen. Now, for me to confirm that that's happening, I'd basically look at where is the previous low. And ultimately, for me, the previous lows are sitting in these two areas over here. So I'll sort of expect this to come down, test, and then have that next leg to the downside. Now, what does that mean? If you have a look, I basically took the Fibonacci from the low to the top, and I wanted to see how big could this correction be, even if it's a bullish correction. And ultimately, you can be looking at a 10 to 12% down in the stock markets. And if that had to happen, we obviously know crypto, will bleed pretty quickly, and that should get us to the 14K area. Now you look at that with the Dixie. So I'm not going to do the Dixie and stock market and stuff every day anymore. I'll be doing it on Mondays. We'll go through Mondays, go through the higher views of the week, and then throughout the week, we'll just focus on trades, altcoins, and what we look at. So what's quite weird at the moment is we have the stock market looking to show some weakness, but we have the Dixie looking to break the low. And then I started to see, okay, but we're getting gold. Gold looks like the dollar is going into gold at the moment, and silver. Looks like these two are starting to spike up pretty good right now. One thing that I do see is gaining a bit of strength is the 10-year yield as well. So this is just confirming again. Now, if these had to bounce and the stock market to fall, you could see the levels on where the 10-year yield could be going. And it could be going all the way up to these areas over here, then a possible leg down. And it's the same with the Dixie. The Dixie bounces anywhere in these areas. It still has not tested any of these major trends since we lost it, of a push all the way up to this side, which if we had to have a look now percentage-wise, is pretty big, 45% to the upside. So just confirming, guys, that we're at another critical point, and Bitcoin needs to hold 16K right now as the short time frame bullishness, possibly, of that little break that we have. And then it just needs to go sideways. Just needs to go sideways for another 2-3 days, get those RSIs down. And then from that, we can make our way up. And like I said, if this has to play out, guys, where this plays out like this, then we break and we play out. I'm pretty satisfied that this could be the bottom. If we had to continue low like this and break, and that weekly stochastic gets to the floor, that weekly stochastic has never lied, guys. That thing has always been incredibly accurate at the range, giving you the range of where we're at. This could be the temporary low. So we're at that stage now where, for me, the low's near. And another week or two, I think we identify where that low actually is. Now, big ones for us to focus on this pullback as we speak. We have the very bearish scenario, but we're not going to get to that just yet. But ultimately, for me, BNB, I hope you didn't be chasing at all, but I think BNB is one that we just can't mess with anymore. And, we've been speaking about. So a few tokens that I see as a possible opportunity in this pullback, obviously considering that there could be a capitulation. So always work in another 20% further down if there is a big capitulation. But if BNB comes and tests 270 level, I think it's time for you to load up on. BNB seems like a safe asset right now. Look at the rest of the market and look at BNB, and you can even look at BNB. I hope you guys have been using those pairs, guys. The pairs are extremely strong. Look at the BNB pairing. Look how strong BNB is to the rest of the market right now, considering even against Bitcoin, which is quite crazy to see at the moment. So BNB for me, if you're diversifying, make your altcoins smaller now, make everything smaller. You'll diversify back in. There's time. There's no more rush anymore. If we bounce, but we're going to go sideways first, unless we capitulate. Then you're buying on the capitulation. Remember what I said, the capitulations, like set your targets low. Set your targets for $900, $800 ETH, maybe even a $700 ETH. Set your targets low. Set your Solana at $6 to $8. Use this list, guys. Set it low if we do start to drop really, really, really quick. But if we go sideways, that could be a good enough time, because we've been hearing rumors that there's a lot of Bitcoin buying at the moment. Billions and billions and billions of dollars is being bought up in these areas as we speak. I'm telling you, the shit's not going to be the same at some point. You're going to soon see how much of an opportunity this was. And if there is a capitulation, it's even a way higher opportunity than what we ever thought. So think of that. If we have a look at Ethereum, just wait for these RSIs, guys. 8 to 12 to the daily. Think of those when they are. If it holds the level of 1,150, and we hold those levels, you'll have your little trend line coming down, which will be a little breakout trend line, and then it's time for ETH. You can see everything. The bounce is going to be big. If we go sideways first here, I think the first areas is here, if not back to the recovery. I really, really think we can go back to the 20K on Bitcoin very quick once we're done with this. Either we capitulate first or we go sideways and we break those trends. I think we make our way up very quickly. So BNB is definitely one. Matic as well. For me, Matic goes to the 70 cents to the 60 cents mark on a capitulation. And ultimately, the second one that you have is you're waiting for the RSIs, is the break of this trend, guys. Put this trend in. I'm telling you, it's going to be a beauty. It's going to be really good. And ultimately, we're either going to capitulate at some point, and then we will look at the strong break, or we break this at any point. And for me, Matic rallies straight back to where it was continuing at the 1.1 to the 1.2, and we still had the way high targets going before we had the FTX collapse. So for me, Matic is still one of the huge opportunities. Obviously, let's speak about Solana for a second. For the two different plays here. Now, we're not guaranteed to get that $7, $8. We know it's over-exaggerated right now, and they really killed Solana. And we know, possibly this could be... There is news about BitBoy having something on Solana. Like, there is news. And apparently it's not good. And ultimately, that could give us the areas. I still think Solana is going nowhere. And I think a $6 to $8 Solana is a huge opportunity. But let's think of the different ways here as well with Solana in case we don't get those lows. And ultimately, what are we going to do? Now, we do have this horizontal, and it's probably going to be the safest play to get with this, is if we do have this calm down where the market just settles for a while, reset of RSIs, and ultimately you're forming a beautiful upside down bar. And when we break this resistance over here, will be a really strong acceleration back into the 20s. So for me, pay attention to Solana, guys. I think, aim low, definitely aim low on capitulation. But have a second strategy that if it breaks, where are you damn getting it? Because it may not be, we will soon see at a later stage if it's worth holding for the next 3 years. But ultimately for me, I see if this goes sideways and a break and a test, I just see good gains. And I see an area of where you can make good money throughout the time where the markets are offering crazy amounts of money as we speak. And Solana is definitely one of the big ones. I saw phantoms pumping. Obviously, this whole thing with Andre, you can't tell me that these trend lines don't work, guys. They work incredibly well. One thing to focus on with Phantom, obviously got hit pretty hard, but Phantom was at a point with the weekly where it looks like it wants to approach it again now. Let's have a look on the daily. Still a slight way, but what it is showing, it's showing a possible breakout by the end of the year, if not early January. So for me, I have two areas to accumulate. I have around 16 cents and I have around 12 cents on capitulation for Phantom. Guys, with Andre coming back, I think Run's even doing a show on it later. I think you've got to have some Phantom. And I think Phantom, risk to reward, we went through it on last week. It's huge. It's actually falling under 15, 20 to 25x on the next run. And that's just back to previous data, back to previous levels that we've been before. And it could be going a lot higher than that in the future if they continue the run. So Phantom's another one. Big eyes for Chainlink, as I said, guys. And we've spoken many about these. So I'm going to be going through many more of these, many more different tokens throughout the week. But ultimately, these are the main ones. I think focus on BNB. For me, BNB, Matic, Bitcoin, ETH, powerhouse right now. Possibly a little bit of Chainlink and a few of those. And if Solana goes to $8. So guys, I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Let's wait and see. We'll know by tomorrow. A few more RSIs should be reset. But for me, prep for capitulation. Just prep for it. Okay, there's still a possibility it's going to happen and it's going to be fast and ugly and you're not going to be able to get into exchanges. So make sure you have your limit orders in play. And we'll update as the week goes. Have a fantastic day. I love you all. Much love. I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love.